What is going on, guys? Today we are looking at all of the goalkeepers in FC24 and deciding who should be between your sticks. So we have got quite a few different players now from the last time we did this. We've had Team of the Year, Team of the Year Honourable, Road to the Final, we kind of skip over. I don't think we've actually even had a future star goalkeeper, so that one could be coming in Team 2 or more than likely just won't happen. But we still have a very good selection of keepers. We've gone from the golds now, we've got a few of their specials. I think pretty much most now have got another version on top, but they are still very relevant. I think one for me is going to be our man Courtois. Still one of the best keepers I personally like in the game. He isn't necessarily going to be my number one, but definitely in terms of a gold value, I think he is still absolutely on top. I'd even argue as far to say that Alisson and Ederson would still give you that same job. I think this year especially, I've not seen a much of a comparison between them. They all make very similar saves. There's definitely some aspects that are different, but most definitely when it comes to actually saving, there isn't that much difference. And it's the big thing when it comes to goalkeepers. I personally think there isn't necessarily any component where I can be like, that is the definite answer why he's better or why he's worse. As we go through the rating, sometimes there can be worse keepers. It just naturally can be. If we look at someone like a Trap, with me, I would probably go Alisson, Ederson there. I would then go with Courtois as the S, my personal favourite. Then obviously we go with Trap. I would probably put him more towards a B or an A. Arguably, I'd probably go B at this point because the level of keepers in terms of names are higher rated, and that's pretty much all it is. There isn't necessarily me saying that I can tell you that Alisson, because he's 6'5", he's got a wingspan of such and such, and he has cross claimer on, then he's going to be way better. Because realistically, we have such a shift in difference. When you look at all of the keepers, we have got Alisson at 6'4", it was very close though. We have Van der Sar at 6'6", 6'5" for Czech, Yashin 6'2". So we know their height isn't a big thing unless it is a massive difference. So someone like an Earps 5'8", I can tell you from Campos, I can tell you from a Carl Walker, it definitely has something to do with the underneath 6 foot, definitely. There's just no chance that a 5'8" keeper works, and hence why a Team of the Year goalkeeper is already coming in at 170. They were already hard enough to pack, let alone being the lowest by an absolute landslide. So I'm thinking, okay, height definitely has some factor at the low end, but at the top end it doesn't. I really like Pope. He's, 6'8" or 6'6", I think he is in the game. So Pope's coming in. Let's find him on here. Pope's coming in. I want to say he's a ridiculous height. I want to say 6'6". Yeah, 6'6". So massive, massive height for him. But again, is he that good, or is it nostalgic value? Because Pope's gold card from a few years ago was phenomenal. Sometimes we get broken ones. Butland was a big one in like FIFA 16 or something, whereas now I'm finding a lot of the time it's Courtois, it's Alisson, it's Ederson, it's Donnarumma at the lower end, and then as we go up it goes into the icons. So if I was looking at them, I'd go Hradecky, I'd go in the low end. Honestly, I don't know why we got two. I get the fire and ice, but why two goalkeepers? Like, surely that just makes no sense for this promo because they are the same position. I get it for a left back, right back, a centre back, striker, but if your team's looking like this, then I have the place for you. Head over to U7Buy for all your coin needs. They're cheap, fast, and reliable, but make sure to use JT11 at the checkout for 6% off all of your coin orders. Two goalkeepers that really didn't make that much of a difference in any sort of market. I realise I'm not on the right screen. I don't personally get what that even is, to be honest. It makes both of them are terrible in themselves anyway, but for me, I just found that a very weird one to have. We then look at Dudek. I think Dudek's had a massive, massive glow up this year. Normally, when it comes to the normal hero version and then any upgrades, he's kind of okay. I actually think he's up there with some of the best of them in terms of kind of the lower end. Obviously, when it comes to icons, they tend to be a little bit better, but only in certain aspects. So I think for me, I would look at Czech somewhere in an S category. When we look at him on the other side, he's currently coming in at a whopping 515. So to be honest, the most expensive goalkeeper is going to be Alisson at 700, Van der Sar at 660, and then we look at a lot of the icons now. We see Cech at 138 for his base, Casillas 187, Schmeichel 220. There's a different variety of what I like from keepers, and I think going through quite a few of them, I think the only kind of ones that I've not really spent loads of times with is like Oblak. We had Ter Stegen on the second account. Herodekis, I've played like one match each. I was just not a fan from the get-go. I just don't think he's a good goalkeeper anyway. Then we've had a go with Herbs, obviously loan. Same with Alisson. We've had him on a loan. We didn't actually manage to get him this year, which is a little bit disappointing. Edison's always been a fan favourite, especially from this version. I'd definitely go into more the S category with him. I'd then go Herbs. To be honest, I'd just go straight into the B, if I'm being brutal. Oblak and Mignan, I'd say definitely into more of an A category. Let's move it out a little bit. And then we look at kind of the rest of them. We then have Lloris. Good SBC, was 124,000. If you were looking for Prem, French, 91 rated goalkeeper, then he's definitely a decent SBC to get done, especially if you are looking for a Spurs past and present, or just even in general a French past and present. That, well, I suppose it's just a French team. But in terms of the 91, I'd definitely consider him into a lower S tier. Wouldn't quite go down to A+, but I think he's just a little bit underneath. Donnarumma, always been a big fan. I think especially when it comes to height for him, it definitely has that aspect of being a good goalkeeper, and I'm stand by it. 6'5" and above normally means a decent keeper. Then there's other attributes, like when we look into something like their traits. So for instance, if we was to look into Donnarumma, he's coming in at 83,000 coins, so relatively cheap. Far throw, cross claimer, rush out. The far throw, I don't think affects that much. It's just natural that shouldn't affect anything. I like the cross claimer, and then the rush out is dependent on your style. Every now and then I like to rush out, but I like a fake rush out. Sometimes it works, sometimes it gets my bottom handed to me. But that is just my kind of tactic. Cross claimer, I think, is a massive one, because when you are, as it stands, trying to claim for a cross, it is so easy for somebody, especially in a corner situation or if someone's in the box, if you can't physically get out or they're not naturally positioning themselves to get it, that is going to be a free header, or at least somebody who's got the ability to head. If they're crossing the ball, it means they've either got somebody in the box that can head, or they're aimlessly doing it, which either way could result in an easy goal. So for me, I think they are two massive ones there. When it comes to the rest of them, if I look at, for instance, someone like an Alisson, we've obviously got the 95. Footwork is another one. I knew there was another one. I think if we go to all play styles, when it comes to goalkeepers, we have got far throw, don't think it matters. Footwork, definitely decent, but I would say cross claim is still above that. We have rush out, we have far reach. What is that? Bag players are more effective, saving shots from outside the box, increased reach and jumping. Again, and quick reflexes. I swear I've not seen all of these, to be honest with you. But in terms of kind of them, if I was looking at what's going to be the best one there, cross claimers for me, number one. Far reach is mainly an increase from outside the box. Again, it depends, because normally when anybody shoots from outside the box, it's a trivela, it's a finesse, it's a power shot. It doesn't matter. You ain't saving them. They are semi-broken to beyond belief. They are trying to obviously repair people not being able to do 25-yard finesses and trivelas. It still definitely works. There's been an update today, so it'll be interesting to see how the gameplay feels after that. But that will be an interesting one to kind of have that debate with. Van Nistelrooy, I would probably go into more of an A. I don't think he's necessarily the worst keeper, but definitely not sitting himself in the top. Pope-wise, again, I feel like I'm going to go with A, because nostalgic value would want me to put him A+, but I'm going to be realistic with him. I don't think he's the player that he was, and I wouldn't want to hold on to the fact that he kind of is that player when really he's not. He's a decent shot stopper, but other than that, there's very bog standard with him. Same with Ter Stegen, I'd go with A+. A great keeper from the very start. Always been a decent gold. Now he's obviously at the higher rateds of a 90 from his inform. And one of the only informs we've seen. I know Donnarumma did get an inform, but now he's got himself into the road to final. It's even better. And that card can be upgraded if they do progress. Which leads us to Team of the Year and the Icons. Now, in terms of Schmeichel, I would definitely go in the top of category. I think a lot more people have had a more widespread of game with him because of that SBC that he had. It's a cheap SBC. It was nice and affordable. Everybody got into him. He's obviously an icon, so all of the icons get the 3-star chem and then always have the extra links for everybody. So they're always going to have a one-up on everybody. Whereas some of them are not my fan favourites. I think when we look at Casillas, I'd definitely put him up there. Check. I personally, in terms of the bog standard, I'd probably go with the A. I'm not a big fan of that version. I like the Team of the Year edition. Has had just a bit of an upgrade. Nothing too crazy, but I'd say a +5 is still a considerable upgrade that we've got. Then we have Yashin, Van der Sar, and Alisson. 2 for the Van der Sars. I'd easily go with 1 into the S. And then we've got the choices between my S pluses and also Yashin. Yashin's definitely got a different set now because of that promo card. Going into the centre back, he's phenomenal there. So if I had the choice, I'd 100% go a different keeper to get him in that centre back. But that doesn't mean he's a terrible keeper nonetheless. I still really like him in net, but my 2 top keepers have to be Van der Sar and Alisson. And if I had to pick one of them, it would easily be Van der Sar 100%. But whenever it comes to a Team of the Year, you've always got to give him them respects. I like Van der Sar as the best icon and Alisson as the best player at the moment. Let me know down below if you agree. If there's any other differences, let me know down below.